the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now from The Athletic. Our friend Bob Kravitz joins us. Boilermaker team, you've written about this, and really I go back to talking about, after the IU and Nebraska game, Carson Edwards has to raise his game. Are we in that danger area where maybe his game is not going to be at the level where Boilermaker fans want to see it, Bob, here going into the tournament?
Well, the last 11 games, he's not shot particularly well. And this is not counting we're talking regular season. And they still went 8-3 during that stretch. So they can win without him being great. But, once you get to the NCAA tournament and you're one and done, and you've got, you play better teams, I just think Carson's got to play better. Yeah, to me, they are one more 4 for 17 away from being eliminated. And, I think you can probably say this about a lot of teams, but I think it's really true of Purdue. They could get beaten in the second round by Villanova, or they could get to the Elite Eight or even further. I just think it's really a crapshoot with Purdue. I love their team. I love what they're about. I think they're exceedingly well coached. I love the culture there. But, Carson Edwards, if that's back, I asked him about the back yesterday, and he said it's getting there. It's a process, which tells me it's not 100% just yet.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic, talking a little college hoopage on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So, normally with the guy on a team or a shooter or even furthermore a scorer, we say shoot until you shoot yourself back into a groove. We have seen some points, I think, with Carson and Purdue where he continues to shoot, and he really is a detriment to that team when he doesn't hit anything, Bob.
Yeah, I really think, we saw at points during the season that he really became a good facilitator. And look, they're putting so much attention, placing so much attention on Edwards that, he can take the defense with him and other people will be open. But he's really got to raise the level of his game. If he's not scoring, if he's not hitting, he's got to facilitate. And that's one of the things I talk to pro scouts, and they all say that that's the one area of his game. First, they like to see him come back and work on his point guard skills, because he's 6'0" and 6 foot whatever, and he's going to be a point guard at the next level if he makes it the next level. And they like to see him come back, but that's definitely an area where he needs to improve.
Yes, no doubt about that. Bob Kravitz joins us. All right, for the local teams that are going to be in the NIT, and I'll start with Butler, and then we'll play off of your latest thing regarding Romeo Langford and IU going into the NIT. This has been a very disappointing season for Butler, and I've talked about this a couple of times. That makes next year for Laval Jordan incredibly big, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does, but, I think they're going to be patient. I think, and I've always felt that unless a guy is completely inept, you got to give him 4 years. I do think the third year is going to be important. I honestly, I know they've got a decent recruiting class coming in, or so I've read. I've not seen these guys, but yeah, I think it's going to be important for them to kind of take that next step. And they moved up in weight class going to the Big East. It means more money, but it means more competition. So I just think they're not going to be down for long. And I think Laval Jordan's got the goods. He did get them to 21 and 14 last year, and the NCAA tournament. I think they'll be back. We just got to see it.
Hey, Bob, you wrote an article in The Athletic about Romeo Langford and how Romeo Langford needs to shut her down and move on and not play in the NIT. I guess I probably know the answer to this question before I ask. How was that received from IU fans?
Woo! Oh, man. The tweets I'm getting are like, when I would criticize Bob Knight. I mean, it's like, how dare you tell this young man what to do? I'm not telling him what to do. I don't even know if he has a subscription to The Athletic. I hope that he does, but I don't think so. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm telling him what I would do. I'm telling him if I was his father, that's what I would have him do. If I was Archie Miller and I wanted to do what was best for the kids, I'd tell him, look, it doesn't make any sense for you to take a chance on hurting yourself against St. freaking Francis, okay? So sit your butt down and, get ready for the draft. By the way, in the Athletic's latest mock draft by Sam Bessany, he's got Romeo as the 8th pick. So I got all these people on Twitter saying he's no good. He's not going to be until late first round. Nonsense. As you know, as I know, as a lot of smart people know, it's not what you can do now. It's what you can do 2-3 years from now.
Is it more, though, in the reaction you get about, well, he's not playing for our favorite team, or, well, why shouldn't he play because he's not that good and he's not going to get drafted where everybody believes he's going to be? What's the answer you most get?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I think a lot of it is IU fans just want to win, and you got a better chance of winning with Romeo Langford than you do without. I think some people take issue with the fact that I have an opinion, so that seems to be problematic because that's how I feed my family, having an opinion and writing stuff. I just think I think fans sometimes are selfish and they don't think in terms of what would they do in this situation. If you had millions of dollars on the line, if you're him or if you're his parents, I think you would make the decision to shut it down. I don't think he will, unless his back is still bad, and that's very noble. But I don't think it's particularly smart, and I hope to God he stays healthy.
So Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'm going to ask you this. I am this. I say you're on the team, you play. That's what I say, and that's very old school, very cut and dry, very easy answer to have. Does that make me selfish because I feel that way?
No, it makes you ancient.
Well, there's no argument there, yeah.
Well, I'm a hell of a lot older than you are, bud. But I'm woke, John. I'm woke.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, you look at all the football players, including Boza. I had some people on Twitter saying, well, if he blows off this game, that's going to hurt his draft stock. What a bunch of malarkey. Look, he's not – they're going to look at the tape. They're going to look at the full season. They're going to look at everything he's ever done. 1 game, 2 games, 3 games against, Sir Francis Scott Key of Pennsylvania ain't going to make a damn bit of difference in the way he's used by the NBA. So it doesn't make you selfish. I mean, it depends on where you're coming from. But I think a lot of IU fans, or I get the sense that a lot of IU fans just want to win, and they think that he helps them win, which he does.
I just view it this way, and certainly I think you can view it a little bit different when it comes to being a football player. But I just kind of look at it as, you're on the team and you're healthy. I do, however, I do understand where you're coming from on this, and the kid from Arkansas that IU's already seen once has decided to go ahead and to hang it up and not play in the NIT. I can understand that thought.
Is that right? I did not know that.
Yeah, what was his name? Is his name Gifford? He's their 6'11" kid that played against IU earlier in the season. In fact, that was probably one of those games where had Devin Davis, had that tip in, go in. Maybe we're talking about IU in the tournament right now and not, but. He's decided not to play, at least from what I've read in the NIT, and go ahead and concentrate on the NBA. So I get it, but I am old school in suggesting that if you're a part of the team, be a part of the team. So,
yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, but look, I'm not. You can't put the guy in bubble wrap. I understand that he could get hurt working out for an NBA team. He can get hurt. Brushing his teeth, walking across the street, whatever. But he's got a hell of a lot better chance of getting hurt playing against St. Francis of Assisi than he does, sitting his butt on the bench. So, I understand the optics are not good, but I tend to agree with the decision the Arkansas kid made, and that's what I would. That's the way I would play it. People are saying, well, it'll ruin his legacy. What legacy? What legacy has he left? I mean, he was a really nice player for one stinking year where they didn't do anything.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Before I let you go, I'm sure you're getting a lot of this too. What do you think of the way, again, and we know it because they did the same thing last year, Chris Ballard and the Colts' approach with this money and how they're addressing needs through free agency to this point?
Well, I think things are going to get hot and heavy now. I guess there's some talk that Jay Ajayi, the running back, is in town. I did not expect them to do much of anything with the big money on the first couple of days, first week or so. I didn't expect them to do much. I was actually a little surprised they spent as much as they did on Funchess, although it's just a 1-year prove-it deal. But I think they're going to get really active here in the next couple of weeks because now you've got the crazy money's already been thrown around by everybody. And now you're going to get some of those guys who are, a little bit kinder on the budget. And there are still a lot of good players out there. But Landon Collins, they just weren't going to pay him $80-something million. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. I think he's a hell of a player, but I just don't think you lay out that kind of cash for a safety.
At the Combine, Frank Reich was with me, and he, addressed you guys as well. And he was, again, very solid at the wide receiver position. And they trust their system, and they believe they can implement guys into their system and be just fine. I still think they need to upgrade the depth. What do you think?
Well, with Funchess, I actually think they're in pretty good shape now. You got, obviously, Hilton. Funchess, you've got who was the kid? Inman. I really like Inman if he comes back. Chester Rogers they brought back, right? And then Deion Kane, if he can come back healthy and look at all like he did last training camp up in Westfield, I think they're going to have pretty good depth. At wide receiver, quite honestly. I think they just really need to concentrate on that D at this point.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic. You can go ahead and – how do you get a subscription to this if you don't have one?
Well, you just go on to theathletic.com, and it'll come right up, and you get a subscription. And actually, if you like, you can tweet me or email me, and I will get you the latest and greatest subscription deal that I can possibly get for you.
He is Bob Kravitz of The Athletic. Check it out. It's always a pleasure, my friend, and we'll keep in touch and see what goes on in the next couple of weeks. Thanks, buddy.
Sounds good, John. Take care.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline.